So you may be wondering why my bookshelves look so barren, and if to you this isn't barren and this is packed, I'm sorry, but to me this is barren because I have removed my favorite books of 2018 and I'm gonna show them to you today. If you're excited for this video, make sure to give it a big thumbs up and subscribe for more videos from Jess. Yes. Yes. Okay, I'm done being an extra. So let's get into my favorite books of 2018. So I strategically put 7 books on this list, and I feel like these 7 books have a special place in my heart because they have made me change the way I think about things. And after reading each of these books, I went back and I had to lower ratings of other books. I'm like, no, this can't be a 4-star because this is a 4-star, and if that's a 4-star, you're like a 3 or a 3.5. So, you know? So yeah, I firstly wanted to mention some honorary mentions that didn't make it to the 7, but these are still really cool. I think overall, the series I'm gonna mention are really cool, but let's get into it. These honorary mentions are in no way in a special order or anything. I'm just gonna mention things that were meaningful to me. And the first thing I'm gonna mention are the DC Icon series. So I may start talking more about it in videos, but I'm a huge nerd. I love DC. I love that Young Justice is coming back and the first 3 episodes are lit. I love DC in general. The animated series are great. Like Batman Beyond is one of my favorite cartoons of life besides like Teen Titans and like Kim Possible. Like DC has impacted my life. I love DC. These books mean a lot to me. They're so well written. They're diverse. They tackle other issues. They all weren't like 5-star reads. They're more like 4 or 3.7 because some of them had some issues, but I love them, and I think they give me so much joy being in a fictional world that I love so much, and how they kind of diverge from the normal DC books. And I have to say that I love them because they take the normal characters, Batman, Wonder Woman, and Catwoman, these flat 2D, normally Caucasian characters who have a lot of privilege, and kind of, you know, make them real, make them more dense, make them more 3-dimensional and emotional and passionate. And I love these with all my heart, and everyone should read them. And Superman's coming out soon, and I don't want these to stop, and I want them to all intertwine at one point. But I know that may not happen, but it's okay. I highly recommend, guys. Do it. Do it, do it, do it. My next honorary mention is The Fates Divide by Veronica Roth. I always loved Veronica Roth's writing ever since Divergent. I love how she writes characters, and this duology is no different. It is a great sci-fi book. If you need an introduction to sci-fi and you're scared about it being a complicated universe or whatnot, this is beautiful. These characters go through so much, and it's just great because it's about self-love and acceptance, and it's about how things you do in life may be ugly, but it's for survival, and that doesn't change who you are as long as you progress. It just tackles so many different things. And Carve the Mark is the first one. This is the second one. This came out in 2018, and I read it, and I loved both of them, and I reread them, and they're just great. And more people really need to be reading this because I find that it's just perfect, and I love the universe that she's created. It's so expansive, and she could really easily keep writing in this universe. There's cool powers, there's cool people. What more can you ask for? And the last honorary mention, you guys should know this if you know my channel, I'm obsessed with a particular book. And that's gonna be Warstorm by Victoria Aveyard. This maybe wasn't a 5-star read. I think I'm gonna do a reread of the whole series because I don't know if I've hyped it in my head that it means so much to me, that it's so nostalgic, because I started reading it maybe like 2 years ago or so, and it's the first real fantasy book that I really got into. But this book just means so much to me, and when I was reading it, I kept putting it down because I didn't want it to end. And I'm very happy now that we have a new novella coming out. So yeah, this book means a lot to me, and everybody should read it. Haha.
I mean, if I'm making you feel awkward, I can leave.
No, I just finished talking about that book, that's why.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so the next 7 books are my top favorites, and it's gonna kind of go from least to most favorite. And this book is First and Then by Emma Mills. This book had me shook because it's about a normal girl in high school, but for some reason it had so much meaning behind it. She's like a book nerd, so everyone, you know, you can relate. And it's just so cute, and it made me want to read Pride and Prejudice. So any book that makes me want to read a classic, automatic favorite. But yeah, she basically has an unrequited love, and it's super cute, and I cared so much for the character, so it's definitely a 5-star read, and everyone should read this book. It's so adorable, and if you're struggling through high school, you'll relate. The next book that I loved was The Last Magician by Lisa Maxwell. This book is massive, and I didn't want to read it because I was a little scared because the size is so large, but it's so good. Literally, like, if you like a romance in your like magical worlds, this is like perfect because it's like not cringy and it's so mature, but at the same time they're being so cute because they're very sassy with each other, but at the same time the universe itself is really cool. So this is in a world where magic is kind of outlawed and New York has been shut down and only people with magic get stuck in there, and if you leave, you die. And there's a girl who can travel through time, and she kind of gets thrown back into like the 1920s, and she's trying to like save the world, normal stuff. But it kind of, the politics is so intertwined throughout the book, so it had a really good plot twist, and I loved it so much. So if you like a little romance with your fantasy and a good fantasy world, highly recommend, and I can't wait to read the sequel for this. The next book that I really loved was Dear Martin by Nick Stone. I don't have a physical copy of this book. I read it on Scribd, but it was definitely one of those books that really changes the way you think. It was about a boy who was writing letters to Martin Luther King because he couldn't understand how to get through life as like an African American. He had a lot of privilege, and he thought like he would never have these problems. Like, he's not from the ghetto. He shouldn't have fears with cops or anything like that, but he still does. So he's still trying to figure out how to get through life and how to like feel about yourself when other people see you as something different. So it's very impactful in my opinion, and Nick Stone's writing is so humorous, and I think everybody should read it. It's impactful and funny at the same time, and I don't know how, and it's so impressive, and I can't wait to read more from Nick Stone. The next book I read is so exciting because I know everyone's talking about it, but it's Nevermore by Jessica Townsend, and oh my god, this book is so good. I've heard if you really like Harry Potter, you like this, so that's why I'm also excited to read Harry Potter. It's a magical world where this girl is cursed and she's gonna die on her 11th birthday, but she magically gets swept away into this whole other world, and it's just really cool. The politics are surprisingly really impressive in this book, and I always thought like middle grade isn't as good as young adult because you're writing for a younger audience, but no. The writing is still so impressive. I think it's even more impressive than some of the books that I've already mentioned. It's just so whimsical and crafted so well and beautiful, and it's just great. And I feel like even though she's young, like you can still relate to her circumstance of like, man, this life is hard and I have to figure out how to survive. I don't think anyone's dying on their 11th birthday because of a magical curse, but it's definitely relatable and cute, and everyone should read it because it's just a fun time. Okay, now we're getting into my top 3 books. So these 3 books really changed my reading year basically. When I read these books, I had to go back and change my like rating of these books because it was just, they were so good and so impactful. So this 3rd book I also don't physically have, but it's Harbor Me by Jacqueline Woodson. Jacqueline Woodson has become like an auto-buy author for me. She talks about such serious issues and she does it so beautifully, and this is considered a middle grade book. But Harbor Me is about students who are kind of in special needs classes, and the teacher assigns them to spend time together outside of class in this other room where they can just talk. And these students get to talking about their personal lives and what they're going through and what their family's going through. And it's a very diverse group. So you also hear about other people and what they're going through. And it opens your eyes to other sides, because it's not like the story where it's like, oh, let's pity the black girl, or like, oh, let's bash the white person. No, it's more about like understanding each other, and you get to hear from all different sides, and it's so beautiful, and everybody should read it. And Jacqueline Woodson is like just a goddess for always giving us such good books. The next 2 books I've talked about so much on my channel, so I'm not going to go into too much detail. The second book is Piecing Me Together by Renee Watson. This book, if you saw my reading vlog, I'll link it down below. When I read it, I loved it. It's a really short read, but it's so impactful. It talks about police brutality, talks about weight, talks about being black and low income, having privilege, having friends that aren't friendly, dealing with high school, and all that stuff all in one, and how to follow your passions when people tell you that you shouldn't, or people think less of you because of where you come from. It's beautiful, and everybody should read it. It's definitely like an all-time favorite book of mine. It's so beautiful, and everyone needs to read it, and I won't stop talking about it till everyone does. Just saying. Last but not least is, of course, The Poet X by Elizabeth Acevedo. She has become my new favorite author. This book is so lyrical and poetic. Poet X, the irony, I know. It's a poem. It's written in like free verse. So it's written in poems. It's so beautiful, and it's about a girl just trying to understand herself and trying to express herself, and the way it's written is just so beautiful. Everyone needs to read it. Everyone will cry while reading this because she finds a way to express herself, because she's kind of opposing her mom and her mom's kind of classical traditional views on the world, and she wants to try something new. She wants to be herself authentically, so she's combating that, and everyone should read it because it's amazing. But yeah, those are all the books that I really loved in 2018, and I think that everybody should read because they're very impactful. And yeah, if you've read any of these books, comment down below. What did you think? Did you hate them? Did you love them? Have you not read any of these books? Do you want to read any of these books? Let me know. Comment down below. But thank you guys for watching, and thank you so much for the support. I'm really close to 300 subscribers, so subscribe if you like, and if you don't, that's okay. Okay, I'll see you in the next video. Bye!